So let's begin. Gluconeogenesis, it involves glycolysis, TCA cycle plus some reactions. So when I'm saying it involves glycolysis, so gluconeogenesis involves glycolysis in reverse direction. So in reverse direction, when the reactions are reversible, then at those reactions there's no problem. But the places where reactions are irreversible in nature, so those reactions are catalyzed by separate enzymes, which are the key enzymes of gluconeogenesis. For examples, totally there are three non-equilibrium reactions in glycolysis, and those reactions are catalyzed by hexokinase or glucokinase, phosphofructokinase 1, and pyruvate kinase. These three are the irreversible reactions of glycolysis. So all these three reactions, they are catalyzed in gluconeogenesis by separate enzymes, which are called as key enzymes of gluconeogenesis. Like this, hexokinase or glucokinase reaction catalyzed by glucose 6-phosphatase, phosphofructokinase 1 catalyzed by fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase in gluconeogenesis, pyruvate kinase in glycolysis, and in gluconeogenesis, this step is catalyzed by pyruvate carboxylase and phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase. You can look, the same thing is here in the figure. Glucose converts into glucose 6-phosphate in presence of hexokinase or glucokinase. Similarly, in reverse direction, this step is catalyzed by glucose 6-phosphatase. Fructose 6-phosphate gets converted to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate in presence of phosphofructokinase 1 in glycolysis. In gluconeogenesis, this step is catalyzed by fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase. The third irreversible reaction, that is phosphoenol pyruvate to pyruvate, takes place, the conversion of PEP to pyruvate takes place in presence of pyruvate kinase in glycolysis, while the conversion of pyruvate to phosphoenol pyruvate in gluconeogenesis involves two enzymes, that is pyruvate carboxylase and phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase. Now let's address these three reactions, irreversible reactions, one by one. So first I'm taking the conversion of pyruvate to phosphoenol pyruvate. जब हम gluconeogenesis की बात करेंगे, so first reaction will be conversion of pyruvate, since it is in the reverse direction. So the reaction will be conversion of pyruvate to phosphoenol pyruvate. It involves two enzymes and three steps are there. First step hoga the conversion of pyruvate to oxaloacetate. This takes place in presence of enzyme pyruvate carboxylase. This step requires three things: CO2, ATP, and vitamin biotin. So these three things are required for converting pyruvate to oxaloacetate. This is the first step. It's called as pyruvate carboxylation. Second step is transport of this oxaloacetate from mitochondria to cytosol. So second step will be transport of oxaloacetate from mitochondria to cytosol. The third step will be decarboxylation of oxaloacetate to phosphoenol pyruvate. That is conversion of oxaloacetate to phosphoenol pyruvate in presence of enzyme phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase. Phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase. So these are three steps. First, conversion of pyruvate to oxaloacetate. Second, transport of oxaloacetate from mitochondria to cytosol. And third is conversion of oxaloacetate to phosphoenol pyruvate. सबसे पहले हम पहला स्टेप करेंगे, that is pyruvate से conversion oxaloacetate पे. Now what is the mechanism of this reaction? This reaction में जो mechanism है, as I told you, three things are required: CO2, ATP, and biotin. So this biotin, vitamin biotin, is covalently bound to this enzyme pyruvate carboxylase. This biotin is bound to epsilon amino group of lysine residue of this enzyme. ये enzyme protein है, it is made up of amino acids. तो जहाँ पे lysine residue है, उसके epsilon amino group पे biotin attach होता है. So biotin is attached to epsilon amino group of lysine residue of this enzyme. So the donor of CO2 is this bicarbonate ion. So CO2 from this bicarbonate ion is attached to this biotin, and thus the intermediate compound is formed, that is biotin carbon dioxide intermediate. You can see here at this position, the CO2 is attached to this biotin, and this compound is called as biotin carbon dioxide intermediate. So पहले CO2 biotin पे attach होता है, उसके बाद ये CO2 यहाँ से remove होके pyruvate पे add हो जाएगा, and pyruvate thus converts into oxaloacetate. So now the CO2 from biotin, it is removed, and it is transported. The CO2 from biotin is transported to pyruvate, and thus pyruvate gets converted into oxaloacetate. So the first step is conversion of pyruvate to oxaloacetate. So this was the mechanism. Okay, so we'll again go to that figure. So this step is over, that is pyruvate to oxaloacetate. Now, so what is the purpose of this oxaloacetate? Iska kya purpose hai? First purpose is to form phosphoenol pyruvate so that it can be converted back to glucose. This is the first purpose. Second purpose it is that it replenish the intermediates of TCA cycle which may get depleted. जो oxaloacetate है, जो TCA cycle के intermediates हैं, उनको restore करता है, replenish करता है, जो कि deplete हो सकते हैं. So उसको उनके intermediates को replenish करने के लिए this has to combine, oxaloacetate has to combine with acetyl coenzyme so that intermediates of TCA cycle can be formed. लेकिन अब ये acetyl coenzyme कहाँ से आएगा? Because in this pyruvate gets converted to oxaloacetate. In gluconeogenesis, pyruvate gets converted to oxaloacetate and not acetyl coenzyme A. If this would have been fed state, that is, अगर fed state होती, so pathway glycolysis would operate. Glycolysis जब operate होगा, तो glucose से बनेगा pyruvate. Pyruvate will cross the mitochondrial membrane, and pyruvate this gets converted to acetyl coenzyme A in presence of pyruvate dehydrogenase. Further, this acetyl coenzyme A, it will combine with this oxaloacetate and get oxidized in TCA cycle to CO2 along with generation of energy. अगर ये fed state होती तब ये सारी process चलेगी. Since it is a fasting condition, so in fasting condition में the pathway which operates is gluconeogenesis, and simultaneously beta oxidation also operates, beta oxidation of fatty acids. दोनों ही cycles जो हैं, that is gluconeogenesis and beta oxidation of fatty acids, both these cycles operate in fasting state. Fasting state में gluconeogenesis भी होगा और beta oxidation of fatty acids भी होगा. So जब beta oxidation of fatty acids होगा, उसका end product होता है acetyl coenzyme A. It is the breakdown product of fatty acids, beta oxidation of even chain fatty acids is acetyl coenzyme A with the generation of energy in form of ATP. So जो ये acetyl coenzyme A beta oxidation से बना, this acetyl coenzyme A, it will combine with this oxaloacetate to form intermediates of this TCA cycle. And energy which is derived from this beta oxidation, it is utilized over here at this step, conversion of pyruvate to oxaloacetate, and here conversion of oxaloacetate to phosphoenol pyruvate. So beta oxidation of fatty acid, it promotes gluconeogenesis by providing two things. Number one, acetyl coenzyme A, so that it can combine with oxaloacetate to form intermediates of TCA cycle. And another thing is it provides energy in form of ATP, which can be utilized at this step, conversion of pyruvate to oxaloacetate, and it can be utilized for converting oxaloacetate to phosphoenol pyruvate. So the first step is over of this reaction, that is by conversion of pyruvate to oxaloacetate. Now, second step is the transport of oxaloacetate from mitochondria to cytosol. Since oxaloacetate cannot cross mitochondrial membrane, and this enzyme phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase is cytosolic enzyme. It is present in cytosol. So oxaloacetate needs to transport from mitochondria to cytosol, but since it cannot cross mitochondrial membrane, so it is reduced to malate. Malate crosses mitochondrial membrane. In cytosol, malate is again oxidized to oxaloacetate, releasing NADH plus H plus, and then this oxaloacetate. So second step is over, that is transport of oxaloacetate from mitochondria to cytosol. The third step is decarboxylation of this oxaloacetate to phosphoenol pyruvate. This step is CO2 is released and energy is to drive the reaction. This energy is given out by this GTP. GTP is utilized for energy and oxaloacetate gets converted to phosphoenol pyruvate. So conversion of pyruvate to phosphoenol pyruvate is done in 3 steps. First step is carboxylation of pyruvate to oxaloacetate, जिसपे कि 3 चीजें required होती हैं, ATP, CO2 and biotin, and enzyme is pyruvate carboxylase. जो oxaloacetate बना, इसके 2 purpose हैं. First, to form phosphoenol pyruvate, and second, to form intermediates of TCA cycle to replenish the intermediates of TCA cycle which may get depleted. Second step is transport of this oxaloacetate from mitochondria to cytosol, and third step is decarboxylation of this oxaloacetate into phosphoenol pyruvate, which is done by the enzyme phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase, and this step GTP is required and CO2 is given out. So the first reaction is over, conversion of pyruvate to phosphoenol pyruvate. Now this phosphoenol pyruvate, it travels the glycolysis in opposite direction. It is catalyzed by the enzymes of glycolysis in reverse direction until it forms fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. One thing more, the NADH which is generated here in converting malate to oxaloacetate, this NADH is utilized for converting 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate to 3 glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. At this step, this NADH which is generated here, it is utilized over on this step, at this step. This phosphoenol pyruvate gets converted to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Now here it comes the second irreversible reaction. That is, fructose 1,6-bisphosphate gets converted to fructose 6-phosphate in presence of gluconeogenic enzyme, that is fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase, addition of water, and removal of this phosphate. So fructose 1,6-bisphosphate can convert it to fructose 6-phosphate in presence of fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase enzyme. Fructose 6-phosphate से glucose 6-phosphate बनेगा. Glucose 6-phosphate further converts into glucose in presence of another gluconeogenic enzyme, that is glucose 6-phosphatase. Again, addition of water and removal of phosphate, thus glucose 6-phosphate gets converted to glucose. So these are the three reactions. First, conversion of pyruvate to phosphoenol pyruvate. Second, conversion of fructose 1,6-bisphosphate to fructose 6-phosphate. And the third one, conversion of glucose 6-phosphate to glucose. Okay, so here we come to the reactions. Pyruvate and phosphoenol pyruvate. First step, as I told you, pyruvate carboxylation, conversion of pyruvate to oxaloacetate in presence of pyruvate carboxylase. Three things are required: CO2, ATP, and biotin. This pyruvate carboxylation takes place in mitochondria. The purpose of this reaction is to allow production of PEP for gluconeogenesis, that is phosphoenol pyruvate for gluconeogenesis, and another purpose was to provide oxaloacetate that replenish TCA cycle intermediates that may become depleted. So, and the second step was transport of oxaloacetate to cytosol. Since PEP-CK is a cytosolic enzyme, oxaloacetate cannot cross mitochondrial membrane, so it converts into malate. Malate फिर cytosol में आके वापस convert हो जाता है in presence of malate dehydrogenase. Enzymes are same, बस ये malate dehydrogenase mitochondrial enzyme है अंदर. जब oxaloacetate malate में convert होता है, cytosol में जब malate oxaloacetate में convert होता है, तो this is the same enzyme, but this is present in cytosol, and this enzyme is also present in mitochondria as well as cytosol. So in presence of malate dehydrogenase, cytosolic, malate gets converted to oxaloacetate. Third step, oxaloacetate gets converted to phosphoenol pyruvate in presence of enzyme phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase. CO2 is given out and GTP is the phosphate donor. Now this PEP then is acted upon by the reactions of glycolysis until it forms fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. Second irreversible step of glycolysis, which is catalyzed in reverse direction for gluconeogenesis. In gluconeogenesis catalyzed by fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase, that is conversion of fructose 1,6-bisphosphate to fructose 6-phosphate. Third is conversion of glucose 6-phosphate to glucose in presence of glucose 6-phosphatase. So these were the three irreversible steps of glycolysis which are catalyzed in reverse direction for gluconeogenesis by gluconeogenic enzymes. Now we'll do the energetics of gluconeogenesis. I hope the steps are clear, the three irreversible steps. Now the energetics. See, gluconeogenesis is much more expensive than glycolysis. जब glycolysis होता था, only 2 ATP were required. Suppose we see the pathway of glycolysis. When glucose gets converted to glucose 6-phosphate, एक ATP यहाँ require होता था. Secondly, when fructose 6-phosphate gets converted to fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, second ATP was required over here. So these were the 2 ATP which were required for converting glucose to 2 molecules of pyruvate in pathway of glycolysis. Thus, the pathway of glycolysis require 2 molecules of ATP. Now, let's see the pathway of energetics of gluconeogenesis. See, in gluconeogenesis, when pyruvate gets converted to glucose, there will be 2 molecules of pyruvate because glucose के अंदर 6 carbon atoms होते हैं. तो जब glycolysis में glucose से pyruvate बनता है, तो एक glucose से 2 pyruvate molecules बनते हैं. Similarly, when in gluconeogenesis, glucose जब new synthesis होता है glucose का, then 2 molecules of pyruvate get converted into 2 molecules of pyruvate are converted into 1 molecule of glucose. So let's have a look on this energetics. जब pyruvate से oxaloacetate बनता है, so 2 ATP यहाँ चाहिए. जब 3 phosphoglycerate से 1,3 bis phosphoglycerate बनता है, 2 ATP के molecules यहाँ पे चाहिए. एंड जब oxaloacetate से phosphoenol pyruvate बनता है, so 2 molecules of GTP यहाँ पे चाहिए. मैं 2 इसलिए बोल रही हूँ because this is only 1 molecule of pyruvate and we know that 2 molecules of pyruvate are required to convert it into 1 molecule of glucose. Hence ATP भी double हो जाएंगे. यहाँ पे ATP कितना हो जाएगा? 2 molecules of pyruvate है तो ATP की requirement यहाँ पे 2 हो जाएगी. Similarly 2 GTP will be required here and 2 ATP will be required over here. So total 6 high energy phosphate molecules are required for converting pyruvate to glucose. 2 molecules of pyruvate to 1 molecule of glucose because 2 pyruvate ही एक glucose बना सकते हैं. Pyruvate में 3 carbons होते हैं, glucose में 6 carbons होते हैं. That's why 2 molecules of pyruvate are required to form 1 molecule of glucose. So as we have seen here that totally 6 high energy phosphate molecules are required to form glucose from pyruvate. And 2 molecules of this NADH are required for converting 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate to this glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. 2 molecules of NADH यहाँ पे require होते हैं. So the overall reaction of gluconeogenesis will be when we convert pyruvate to free glucose, 2 molecules of pyruvate are required, 4 ATP molecules, 2 GTP molecules and 2 NADH molecules are required to convert it into 1 molecule of glucose. 2 molecules of pyruvate to convert into 1 molecule of glucose. So for each molecule of glucose formed from pyruvate, 6 high energy phosphate molecules are required. 4 ATP and 2 GTP. This already which we have done. 2 ATP are required in converting pyruvate to oxaloacetate. 2 ATP are required for converting 3-phosphoglycerate to 1,3-phosphoglycerate. 2 GTP are required for converting oxaloacetate to phosphoenol pyruvate. And 2 NADH are required for converting 1,3-bisphosphoglycerate to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. So this is the overall energetics of gluconeogenesis. Thus we can say that gluconeogenesis is much more expensive in as compared to glycolysis, where only 2 molecules of ATP were required. And in gluconeogenesis overall, 6 high energy phosphate molecules are required, 4 ATP and 2 GTP. Now let's have a look on regulation of gluconeogenesis. Since glycolysis and gluconeogenesis, they run in opposite directions, so they are reciprocally regulated. Both these pathways, they operate in separate different conditions. This is operated glycolysis in fed condition when the glucose level is high. And gluconeogenesis is operated in fasting condition when the glucose level is low in blood. So दोनों ही जो reactions हैं, दोनों ही जो pathways हैं, they are operated in entirely opposite circumstances. So they are often run also in opposite direction. So they are reciprocally regulated. Both of these, since they run in opposite directions, so they are reciprocally regulated. They are regulated by 3 mechanisms. First is changes in the rate of enzyme synthesis. Number 2, covalent modification by reversible phosphorylation, and number 3 is allosteric effects. Now changes in the rate of enzyme synthesis, ये इसका क्या मतलब हुआ कि जो ये एंजाइम का सिंथेसिस है उनका जो डिफरेंट रेट पे डिफरेंट एंजाइम का सिंथेसिस होगा, दैट इज इंडक्शन एंड रिप्रेशन ऑफ की एंजाइम्स. इंडक्शन इज the inducer is a molecule which regulates gene expression, which activates gene expression. So induction is activation of gene expression. Repression is inhibition of gene expression. Gene के level पे इनका जब repression होता है, इनका inhibition होता है, उसको बोलते हैं repression. और जब gene के level पे इनका activation होता है, तब उसको बोलते हैं induction. So induction and repression of key enzymes. अगर fed state है, so glucose is present in high concentration. So insulin will be released. As we know, this hormone is insulin is released in presence of high blood glucose concentration. So fed state hoga, glucose will be released. Glucose is present in high concentration and there will be release of hormone insulin. जैसे insulin होगा release, वो inducer की तरह काम करेगा. It will induce the synthesis of enzymes of glycolysis, that is glucokinase, phosphofructokinase 1 and pyruvate kinase. So insulin will induce the synthesis of these 3 enzymes of glycolysis and it will repress the enzymes of gluconeogenesis like pyruvate carboxylase, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase, and glucose 6-phosphatase. These three enzymes will be repressed by insulin. इन तीन enzymes का inhibition होता है by insulin, और ये तीन enzymes जो glycolysis की होती हैं इनका activation होता है at gene level by insulin. और इंसुलिन हमको मालूम है कि कौन से स्टेट में रिलीज होता है, फेड स्टेट में. जब फेड स्टेट में ग्लूकोज की कंसंट्रेशन ज्यादा है तो उस समय ग्लाइकोलिसिस पाथवे शुड ऑपरेट एंड ग्लूकोनियोजेनेसिस शुड बी इनहिबिटेड. सो दिस इज व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ इंसुलिन. दैट इज in response to higher blood glucose, insulin is released, and this insulin, it will induce the synthesis of enzymes of glycolysis, that is glucokinase, phosphofructokinase 1, and pyruvate kinase. And insulin will repress the synthesis of enzymes of gluconeogenesis like pyruvate carboxylase, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase, and glucose 6-phosphatase. Thus, promoting the pathway of glycolysis, insulin will promote the pathway of glycolysis and inhibit the pathway of gluconeogenesis. On the contrary, in fasting state में glucose is present in low concentration. So in इसकी glucose की low concentration के response में hormones like glucagon, epinephrine, and glucocorticoids are secreted. Once they are secreted, they will give rise to increased concentration of cyclic AMP. We already know that increased concentration of cyclic AMP कैसे बनता है? This we have seen in pathway of glycogenolysis and genesis also, that these hormones, they bind to their particular receptors. जैसे ही अपने receptors पे bind करेंगे, they activate the enzyme adenyl cyclase, and further adenyl cyclase converts ATP to cyclic AMP. So thus these hormones, they will increase the concentration of cyclic AMP, and cyclic AMP will further act as an inducer for inducing the enzymes of gluconeogenesis. ये increase होगा concentration of cyclic AMP. अब cyclic AMP inducer की तरह काम करेगा और वो gluconeogenesis के जो enzymes हैं उनको activate करेगा gene level पे. Pyruvate carboxylase, phosphoenol pyruvate carboxykinase, and glucose 6-phosphatase. These three enzymes are activated by cyclic AMP, and all these three enzymes are enzymes of gluconeogenesis. While glucagon, it will repress the enzymes of glycolysis, that is glucokinase, phosphofructokinase 1, and pyruvate kinase. Thus, in fasting condition, the hormones glucagon, glucocorticoids, and epinephrine via cyclic AMP, they will stimulate the enzymes, activate the enzymes of gluconeogenesis, and this glucagon will repress the enzymes of glycolysis. Thus, in fasting condition, gluconeogenesis will be increased and glycolysis will be decreased. So this was the first mechanism of induction and repression of the key enzymes. कि कैसे enzymes induce होती हैं और कौन सी pathway के enzymes induce होंगी और कौन से pathways की repress होंगी. Fed state है तो glycolysis की जो enzymes हैं वो तो induce होंगी और gluconeogenesis की enzymes जो है वो repress होगी. ऑपोजिट कंडीशन में क्या होगा? अगर फास्टिंग स्टेट है तो ग्लूकोनियोजेनेसिस की एंजाइम जो होंगी वो एक्टिवेट होंगी और ग्लाइकोलिसिस की एंजाइम जो है वो रिप्रेस होंगी बाय देयर रिस्पेक्टिव हार्मोन्स. नाउ कम टू द सेकंड दिस थिंग mechanism of regulation, that is covalent modification. Covalent modification होता है by reversible phosphorylation. Glycogenolysis and genesis also, that we have seen that like glycogen synthase, it was inactivated when it was phosphorylated, and phosphorylase kinase and phosphorylase, they were activated when they were phosphorylated. मतलब कुछ enzymes तो phosphorylated condition में active हो जाते हैं और कुछ enzymes अपने phosphorylated condition में inactive form में convert हो जाते हैं. So this is what is covalent modification. It will catalyze reversible phosphorylation and dephosphorylation. सपोज फास्टिंग स्टेट है तो लो ब्लड ग्लूकोज लेवल जो है वो लो हो जाएगा. देयर विल बी रिलीज ऑफ हार्मोन्स ग्लूकागॉन एंड एपिनेफ्रिन. This glucagon and epinephrine, they will decrease glycolysis and it will increase gluconeogenesis by increasing concentration of cyclic AMP. अब cyclic AMP concentration को ये कैसे बढ़ाते हैं? We already know by activating the enzyme adenyl cyclase. These hormones, they increase the concentration of this cyclic AMP. Cyclic AMP further activates the enzyme cyclic AMP dependent protein kinase. Cyclic AMP further इस enzyme को activate कर देगा cyclic AMP dependent protein kinase. अब ये further क्या करता है cyclic AMP dependent protein kinase? On one hand, it will phosphorylate the enzyme pyruvate kinase. Pyruvate kinase वो enzyme है जो कि phosphoenol pyruvate को pyruvate में convert करता है. ये glycolysis का enzyme है. Once this enzyme is phosphorylated, it becomes inactive in nature. जैसे ये inactive में होगा, since it is an enzyme of glycolysis, thus glycolysis pathway will be decreased. So cyclic AMP dependent protein kinase क्या कर रहा है, pyruvate kinase को phosphorylate कर रहा है और उसको inactive form में convert कर रहा है, thus decreasing glycolysis. On the other hand, the cyclic AMP dependent protein kinase, it phosphorylates and activates fructose 2,6 bisphosphatase and inhibits phosphofructokinase 2. This you can understand better by this figure. You can see here. See this ग्लूकोज से ग्लूकोज 6 फॉस्फेट बनता है ग्लाइकोलिसिस में, और ग्लूकोज से बनता है ग्लूकोज 6 फॉस्फेट, एंड ग्लूकोज 6 फॉस्फेट से फर्दर बनता है फ्रक्टोज 6 फॉस्फेट. फ्रक्टोज 6 फॉस्फेट कन्वर्ट होता है फ्रक्टोज 1,6 बिसफॉस्फेट में इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ एंजाइम फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 1. यहाँ पे एटीपी चाहिए होता है, लेकिन फ्रक्टोज 1,6 बिसफॉस्फेट के बनने से पहले एक इंटरमीडिएट कंपाउंड बनता है जिसको बोलते हैं फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेट. फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेट बनता है इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ एंजाइम फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 2, और फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेट वापस फ्रक्टोज 6 फॉस्फेट में कन्वर्ट होता है इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेटेज. आई रिपीट, फ्रक्टोज 6 फॉस्फेट पहले इंटरमीडिएट कंपाउंड बनाता है फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेट, उसके बाद बनता है फर्दर फ्रक्टोज 1,6 बिसफॉस्फेट. सो फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेट जब बनता है फ्रॉम फ्रक्टोज 6 फॉस्फेट, इट इज फॉर्म्ड इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ एंजाइम फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 2. Opposite direction में fructose 2,6 bisphosphate converts back to fructose 6 phosphate in presence of enzyme fructose 2,6 bisphosphatase जो कि gluconeogenesis का enzyme है. But these two enzymes, that is fructose 2,6 bisphosphatase and phosphofructokinase 2, they both are bifunctional enzymes. That is same enzyme है जिसमें कि दो functions हैं. It is the same enzyme but it consists of functional catalytic activity of both the enzymes of fructose 2,6 bisphosphatase and as well as phosphofructokinase 2. Now जब ये enzyme bifunctional enzyme phosphorylate होगा, जैसे इसके ऊपर phosphate अटैच होगा, तब इसका फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 2 तो इनएक्टिव हो जाएगा और फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेटेज एक्टिव हो जाएगा. जब ये डीफॉस्फोराइलेटेड कंडीशन में होता है तो फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 2 एक्टिव फॉर्म में होता है और 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेटेज जो है वो इनएक्टिव फॉर्म में होता है. जब फेड कंडीशन होगा, ग्लूकोज ज्यादा होगा, इंसुलिन सिक्रीट होगा, ग्लाइकोलिसिस प्रमोट होगा. ग्लाइकोलिसिस जब प्रमोट होगा, दैट इज उस समय फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 2 जो होगा वो एक्टिव होगा. जब फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 2 एक्टिव होगा उस समय फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेट बनेगा. 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेट जैसे ही बनेगा वो क्या करेगा, एलोस्टेरिकली फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 1 को एक्टिवेट कर देगा. ये जैसे और ये एंजाइम एक्टिवेट हुआ वैसे ही फ्रक्टोज 1,6 बिसफॉस्फेट बन जाएगा फ्रॉम फ्रक्टोज 6 फॉस्फेट. सो व्हेन दिस एंजाइम इज एक्टिव इन नेचर, दैट इज जब इसका फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 2 कंपोनेंट एक्टिव होगा उस समय फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेटेज कंपोनेंट इसका इनएक्टिव होगा. और ये एक्टिव कब होगा, फेड कंडीशन में. फेड कंडीशन में जब ग्लूकोज की कंसंट्रेशन ज्यादा होगी उस समय क्या होगा, ग्लूकोज से बनेगा ग्लूकोज 6 फॉस्फेट, ग्लूकोज 6 फॉस्फेट से बनेगा फ्रक्टोज 6 फॉस्फेट, फ्रक्टोज 6 फॉस्फेट से फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेट बन जाएगा इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ एंजाइम फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 2 जो कि एक्टिव है. फिर फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेट बनने के बाद फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेट विल एलोस्टेरिकली एक्टिवेट दिस फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 1. अल्टीमेटली फ्रक्टोज 1,6 बिसफॉस्फेट बन गया एंड दिस विल कंटिन्यू टिल पायरुवेट इज फॉर्म्ड. एंड देन अगर ऑपोजिट सर्कमस्टेंसेस में देखें, दैट इज इन फास्टिंग कंडीशन में दे विल बी लो ब्लड ग्लूकोज. अगर ब्लड ग्लूकोज लो है तो हार्मोन ग्लूकागोन विल बी सिक्रीटेड. इट विल कॉज इंक्रीज कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ साइक्लिक एमपी व्हिच विल फर्दर एक्टिवेट साइक्लिक एमपी डिपेंडेंट प्रोटीन काइनेज. जैसे ही साइक्लिक एमपी डिपेंडेंट प्रोटीन काइनेज एक्टिवेट हो गया वैसे वो क्या करेगा, इस बायोफंक्शनल एंजाइम का फॉस्फोराइलेशन कॉज कर देगा. ये जैसे ही बायोफंक्शनल एंजाइम फॉस्फोराइलेट हो गया, देन फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 2 कंपोनेंट इसका इनएक्टिव हो जाएगा एंड फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेटेज कंपोनेंट इसका एक्टिव हो जाएगा. आई एम रिपीटिंग, वंस दिस बायोफंक्शनल एंजाइम is phosphorylated in presence of cyclic AMP dependent protein kinase, so its phosphofructokinase 2 component becomes inactive and fructose 2,6 bisphosphatase components becomes active. Fructose 2,6 bisphosphatase एक्टिव हो जाएगा और फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 2 इनएक्टिव हो जाएगा. जैसे ही फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेटेज एक्टिव हो गया वैसे ही फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेट कंसंट्रेशन कम होगी बिकॉज फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 2 इनएक्टिव हो गया. जैसे ये इनएक्टिव हो गया तो फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेट की कंसंट्रेशन विल डिक्रीज. वंस कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ 2,6 बिसफॉस्फेट इज डिक्रीज, सो इसका जो एलोस्टेरिक एक्टिवेशन है वो भी खत्म हो जाएगा. This allosteric activation, now this is not allosterically activated. So once this is not allosterically activated, so fructose 1,6 bisphosphate is not formed, and thus glycolysis will not be operated. On the other hand, rather fructose 2,6 bisphosphate की concentration decrease हो गई है, and further since this fructose 2,6 bisphosphatase is active in nature, so ये fructose 2,6 bisphosphate को वापस convert कर देगा fructose 6 phosphate में, and then इससे ultimately glucose बन जाएगा. So we have seen here then if there is fed condition, increased concentration of glucose है, अगर तो फिर क्या होगा उस समय फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 2 एक्टिव होता है, इससे फ्रक्टोज 6 फॉस्फेट से फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिस्फॉस्फेट बनता है. फ्रक्टोज 2,6 बिस्फॉस्फेट फॉस्फोफ्रक्टोकाइनेज 1 को एलोस्टेरिकली एक्टिवेट करता है. देन इससे फर्दर फ्रक्टोज 1,6 बिस्फॉस्फेट बनेगा एंड ग्लाइकोलिसिस विल बी प्रोसीडेड. एंड अगर फास्टिंग स्टेट है, देन हार्मोन, देयर इज लो ब्लड ग्लूकोज कंसंट्रेशन, हार्मोन ग्लूकागोन is secreted, it will increase the concentration of cyclic AMP. Cyclic AMP will activate cyclic AMP dependent protein kinase. Cyclic AMP dependent protein kinase will phosphorylate this bifunction enzyme, thus making phosphofructokinase 2 inactive in nature and activating the enzyme fructose 2,6 bisphosphatase, thus ultimately decreasing the concentration of fructose 2,6 bisphosphate. Fructose 2,6 bisphosphate breaks down to fructose 6 phosphate. Fructose 2,6 phosphate further gets converted to glucose. So this we have seen that how this same enzyme can function in different ways by different hormones. So this the cyclic AMP dependent protein kinase phosphorylates and activates fructose 2,6 bisphosphatase and inhibits phosphofructokinase 2, thus decreasing the concentration of fructose 2,6 bisphosphate. Once the concentration of fructose 2,6 bisphosphate is decreased, now PK1 phosphofructokinase 1 will not be allosterically activated. As I said, it will not be allosterically activated, so synthesis of fructose 1,6 bisphosphate cannot take place, thus decreasing glycolysis. On the other hand, since this enzyme is activated, fructose 2,6 bisphosphatase, so what will happen? Fructose 2,6 बिस्फॉस्फेट जो है उसके उल्टे डायरेक्शन में इट विल बी कन्वर्टेड बैक टू फ्रक्टोज 6 फॉस्फेट और फ्रक्टोज 6 फॉस्फेट से फर्दर ग्लूकोज बन जाएगा, thus increasing gluconeogenesis. So the cyclic AMP dependent protein kinase, it will decrease glycolysis and it will promote gluconeogenesis. So this is how covalent modification is done by reversible phosphorylation and dephosphorylation. So this finishes two types of regulations. Allosteric regulation we'll be doing in next session.